We're going to talk about the fractions foldable, which currently this year is going to be the pink side. It may be a different color from future uses. So we're going to look at adding fractions first. So when we add fractions, we're going to change this one up a little bit, so please make sure you're paying attention. So first, when you add fractions, you find a common denominator. In this case, we would have to change to improper before we found a common denominator. But we're going to just find a common denominator first. And then when you have fractions, you add the numerators and keep the denominator. So remember, it just stays the same. Okay? You can sit on the back table, babe. Okay, and then our last piece says simplify if needed. Simplify if needed. Okay? So we're going to show you an example of this. Okay, so I'm going to mark out the 5 and I'm going to mark out the 4, and we're just going to go with 3/7 plus 2/3. So what's a common denominator between 7 and 3?
5.
Harley? 21. It's 21. Okay, so how do I get from 7 to 21? It's times 3. 3 times 3 is 9. Then I get times 7 here, times 7 here. 2 times 7 is 14. So 9 plus 14 is 23. And you keep the denominator the same. 21 goes into 23 one time with 2 left over. And we have 2 21st. So I got a common denominator. I added the numerators, kept the denominator, and simplified if I needed, okay? And I didn't need to. Pretty simple, right? Subtracting follows, huh? I took it out, and we weren't doing it on this one. On subtracting, it's very similar rules. Find a common denominator. Find a common denominator. Subtract the numerators and keep the denominator the same. Okay, so same thing, common denominator, subtract the numerators and keep the denominator. And we're gonna simplify if needed. Okay, so pretty similar, straightforward. This time we're going to keep those bigger numbers. So I'm going to go ahead and change from, and if we have a mixed number, we need to change it to improper, right? So I'm going to use the Texas method, and we're going to talk about that for a second. Remember, we Texas things. So 5 times 6 is 30, plus 2 is 32. So 32 over 5 minus 7 times 3 plus 4 is 25/7. Okay, now I would start my process. Find a common denominator. Common denominator between 5 and 7 is what?
35.
35. So I go times 7 here, times 7. 32 times 7 is 224. And I'm going to go times 5 here, times 5 here. 125. So 224 minus 125, because I'm going to subtract the numerators. And keep the denominators the same. So I got 99/35. Well, that's improper, right? So what do I do with that? I change it to a mixed number. 35 will go into 99 twice with 29 left over. So we have 2 and 29/35. Not too bad, right? Just a little refresher. Kick your mind off, yes? Y'all remember this? Yeah. Okay. Multiplying fractions. Okay, we're going to say convert any fractions or decimals or mixed numbers two improper fractions if needed. Multiply the numerators, and denominators, and then simplify if needed. I'll give you a second to catch up.
I can see that simplify is pretty common.
Yeah, simplify. Always simplify. We want it. Okay. So I'm going to change my mixed numbers to improper. So 7 times 3 is 21. 21 plus 6 is 27, so 27 sevenths. Times 4 times 2 plus 3 is 11 fourths. Okay? If I can cross simplify, I do. I can't, so I'm going to multiply straight across. Oh man, I just wrote 7 plus 0 is 9. So how about 7 plus 7 is 7. 2 plus 7 is 9, and then 2. So we're getting 297 28ths. Okay. Now I'm going to simplify that. Sounds pretty rough, but I'm going to. 297 divided by 28 is 1. Now 28 can't go into 17, so I put 0, and I'm going to write it as a fraction. So remember, we go 10 and 17 28ths. Okay. So done and done. Not too bad. I mean, honestly, we're just refreshing. That's all we're doing. And then our last one. We ready? Okay. Convert any decimal or fractions to mixed numbers. Fractions. Okay. Now, what's the rule for dividing fractions? What do we do? Nope. Remember, it starts with keep. Keep. Change. Flip.
What's that blank for?
I could have carried over this one, and I didn't. Okay. Then multiply the numerators and denominators and simplify.
That's like our favorite word right now.
Okay. So we're going to do this problem. So I see I have mixed numbers. I'm just going to go 3 times 4 plus 1 is what? 3 times 4 is 12 plus 1 is 13. 3 times 1 plus 2 is 5. Now I did that one. What's my next one? Keep, change, flip. Keep, change the sign, and flip the fraction. Now, boom. Multiply the numerators. I like to simplify. We don't have to. You could simplify. You could go here and here if you wanted. Or you could just do 13 times 3. 13 times 1, though, is 13 because I'm going to do it. And then 1 times 5 is 5. The other way you would have got 39 15ths. It's all going to come out good, but you're going to get 2 3/5. This would give you 2 9/15, which would reduce again to 2 3/5. Okay, not too bad, right? Okay, so